Okay, hi everyone, it's Jefford here from Rubik's Academy. Okay, so today we're going to look at a stock that I have actually analyzed in the past, but wanted to revisit this particular stock because it has had some interesting price movements. So I wanted to revisit this stock, and this stock is the Royal Caribbean Cruises stock, right? Ticker symbol is RCL.NYSE. So without further ado, let's go into today's stock analysis. Okay, so this is the chart of the Royal Caribbean Cruises. All right, now I'm going to take away all lines as usual, my style of doing it. Now this is the all-time chart. All right, this is the all-time chart. As you can see, is 1 month per candlestick is 1 month. So this is the all-time chart. All right, so you just zoom in. As you can see, from the month of January onwards, it has definitely taken on a bearish tone with the green GMMA lines crossing below the orange GMMA lines. GMMA stands for Guppy Multiple Moving Average. All right, that's number one. So it's definitely taken on a bearish tone. It's on a bear trend. Now, if you look at the RSI though, it's pretty interesting because as you can see, it just bounced out with a V shape outside of the oversold zone. Now, usually when I see a sharp bounce like that, it could mean a reversal in trend. It could mean, okay? The other thing that I need to notice is that you can see as of now, the ADX from here onwards has been on the upward sloping curve, which means, and it's almost 45 degrees. It's 45 or maybe a bit less, which proves that there is accumulating strength. There is strength in the current trend, all right, in the current trend. And the current trend is ever since, all right, January all the way till now, May. Okay, so on the all-time chart, it still seems that the bear is strong. The bearish trend is still strong. The bearish trend has not died down, although this is a lagging indicator, but it is still nonetheless an indicator, and I want to use it to actually judge the strength of the current trend, right? So it's still going up, which means the bear is still strong in this share, at least on the all-time chart. So what is my stance for this share? I will still be looking to do a short rather than a long. That is my stance, okay, for the Royal Caribbean Cruise. That is from a technical standpoint. Later we'll take a look at the fundamental standpoint, right? So let's go to the 3-month chart. As people who watch the videos will know that I only look at the all-time chart and the 3-month chart, okay? So over at the three-month time frame, right, where each candlestick is an hour instead of a month, you can see slightly different things. All right, you can see that actually from this candle onwards, you can see that actually from this candle onwards, the green lines have actually come up from below the orange lines, indicating that there could be the start of a bullish trend, okay? But unfortunately over here on the RSI, the stock just entered overbought zone and is coming down. So these, the GMMA and the RSI, they are not aligned. They are giving different messages. And then on the ADX side, you can see that there's still a huge climb. In fact, if you look at this properly, the angle of elevation got even steeper, right? From here to here, it got even steeper. So which means the trend gathered even more strength, right? Well, and what trend is that? Okay, you can see that the slope got steeper from this candlestick onwards. So which candlestick is that? This candlestick, which is exactly the candlestick that marked the shift of the green lines to above the red lines. All right, it's exactly on that candlestick. So there are two indicators that seem to say that the bull is coming back, and one indicator stating that there could still be a bear market, which means not all three indicators are alike. Okay. The next thing I want to see is the overall chart formations. Okay, let's draw the chart. You can see very clearly there are some supports over here, around here, then you can see a resistance around here. So you can see that the pair is now, sorry, not the pair, the stock is now in a parallel trend. Okay, it's in a parallel trend. Of course, I could also draw a trend line here, but I don't think it's gonna hold. All right, so let's say I draw it here. It's barely holding, barely holding. Okay, barely holding. All right, I can actually shift this up a little bit more. Okay, so the green dotted line is the overall trend line. You can see that the pair has been seeing ascending lows. Now that's a good sign, but unfortunately it's not seeing ascending highs. It's not seeing higher highs because you can see there's a clear resistance here. In other words, it's become an ascending triangle. Now, usually when it's an ascending triangle, it points to medium bull strength, right? It points to medium bull strength, which means the tendency to break up to the top is higher than the tendency to break up below, right? Which means the very next time it comes to the next resistance zone, which is here, because of the fact it's an ascending triangle, there is a stronger probability that it will break up above the resistance line. Around here, it will break up above. All right, so overall, in terms of technicals, most of the technicals point to a favorable bull situation. All right. Now, if that's the case, if let's say you do want to go for the bull, then my advice to you is wait for it to break above the resistance. Break above the resistance here, okay? Then wait for you to come back down. Wait for you to come back down to the resistance, right? Wait for it, first of all, wait for it to break above the level. Once it is firmly above the level, meaning that it has closed, the price has closed above the resistance, especially if it's the closing for the week. Wait for the price to retrace, the word is retrace back down to the resistance, and this time, this resistance will now become a support. That is where you can perhaps go in for the long. All right, but for me, I'm still bearish. I don't think that the market recovery is here yet. Okay, but never mind, that's it for technicals. Let's take a look at the fundamentals. Okay, so why were they soaring on Monday morning? This one is an article by Motley Fool. Now, the reason they soared is very similar to the reason that the S&P 500 soared. It's about the same reason, which is what reason? A series of positive developments regarding the vaccine and the pandemic situation is what sent the shares soaring. All right. So number one, Jerome Powell, right? The Federal Reserve Chairman did not foresee an economic depression. Recession maybe, but not a depression. Number two, better news about new COVID-19 cases slowing. Number three, more businesses being allowed to reopen. All right, so better news meaning that the number of cases was starting to slow down and there were more news that were coming out which were telling people that there were vaccines being developed, there were remedies, there were some drugs that were found effective against COVID-19. All those news came out over the weekend. Now, my point is still very simple. Okay, it's very simple. My point is still very simple. It goes back to the same point. The market euphoria or the market happiness right now is a happiness that has its foundations built mainly on the fact that this pandemic is over. Whether it's businesses reopening, whether it's vaccines being developed, everything is rooted on the premise that this pandemic is about to be over. Right? Over in terms of closing of businesses, over in terms of finding a cure, over in terms of finding a vaccine. Now, my view stays the same. I foresee a second wave, even a third or fourth wave. I do not think that the pandemic is even close to being over. That's one. Number two is we have to understand that the pandemic is a global situation. It's not a national situation. It is not a regional situation. It is a global situation. And as I already said before, the virus doesn't discriminate. Anybody of any race, of any color, with any religion, of any language can contract COVID-19. And what that means is that countries who have the capability and the economic power to defend themselves against COVID-19 may fare very well for now against the pandemic. But let's not forget there are countries, there are emerging nations out there which lack the resources, the expertise, the money, the time, the talents to go up against this virus. And unfortunately, we are in a situation where everybody needs to play ball. We're in a situation where even the weakest link can cause the whole ship to sink. So my view is very simple. America, Singapore, or even some of the first world countries may be able to beat the virus, but that doesn't mean we have won. That just means that as a country, we managed to control the virus. We would have only truly won if globally the pandemic is erased, like measles, like smallpox. That is when we win globally. And the quick win that we are all hoping for is a vaccine. But even if there's a vaccine, it will take years for the vaccine to be readily available and in terms of pricing, reasonable for the common man on the road to take. And the common man in this case is not the common man in the United States. It is a common man in Africa, the common man in some of the third world countries. So, based on all these factors, I do not think that we have seen the worst of the pandemic. I know there will be a second, third, and fourth wave. That is my more pessimistic view. So feel free to disagree with me, but that is my analysis. And I agree with Motley Fool saying that the euphoria is likely to be short-lived. All right. And I also agree that Powell is just marginally more upbeat. I do not think that there is any cause for any real celebration. So as a race, as humankind, we need to be prepared for the fact that there will be a third and fourth wave. And all these recovery that you see in the stock markets now may not last at all. All right, thank you very much. I'm sorry I gave my very bleak outlook, but amidst the bleakness, we need to find a way to make the best of the situation. Right? We need to find a way to make the best of the situation, which I believe as the human race, we will, because the best of innovations only are born, they are only born during times of the deepest crisis. All right, so once again, my name is Jefford. I'm from Rubik's Academy. See you in the next episode.